Hi friends, today I'll show you how to crochet this raglan tee. It's easy to make, comfortable to wear, and perfect for casual outfits. I've also created a free PDF pattern which you can download on Ravelry. I made two versions of this tee using different yarns, and both held their shape beautifully after blocking with very little stretching. As usual, I want to start by explaining how we will work this t-shirt. We begin at the neckline, working a ribbed crew neck and making 125 rows. After completing the ribbing, join in the round and next divide the stitches for the raglan. Each raglan line is 2 stitches. Worked as 1 double crochet, 2 chains, and another double crochet in the next stitch. As shown in the diagram, the front and back each get 40 stitches. The sleeves get 19 each, and 2 stitches for each of the 4 raglan lines, making 8 raglan stitches in total. The main pattern is 5 chains, followed by 2 double crochet, 1 in each stitch. In the second row, work the same way, placing the 2 double crochet into the chain space from the row below. For the sleeves, I don't like the typical raglan look when they stick out too much, so we will taper them, and to do that, work 4 chains instead of 5. In my case, I will start tapering from round 7, and I will show you in video later how it will look on my body. Otherwise, pattern stays the same. So work the raglan to the length that matches your size. Then we will work a raised back. For an adult garment, I strongly recommend about 2 inches at least. So 2 inches or 5 centimeters. This height gives the best balance and fit. After that, we're going to join in the round, work the body to your preferred length, and complete the bottom edge with ribbing. Then finally, finish the sleeve edges. The sleeves can be any length you like depending on your preference. I will be working with a hook number 3, and you will need 4 markers, scissors, and yarn, of course. And this is the yarn I used, and all the information about materials I'm gonna leave in the description box below as usual. Start by chaining 8 stitches. Then turn the foundation chain so you are working along the opposite side. Skip the first chain, it will be a turning chain, and work 7 single crochet stitches. You must have 7 single crochet in this row. Now chain 1 and turn your work. We are going to work into the back loop only. Starting in the very first single crochet, work 1 single crochet in the back loop only, and continue working 1 single crochet in the back loop of each stitch. But in the last stitch number 7, make 1 slip stitch instead. So on this side, you will always finish the row with a slip stitch. Then make a turning chain and turn your work again. Here on this side, always begin with a slip stitch. Then work 6 single crochet stitches. It is very important to count your stitches in every row. This will help you maintain a neat, even edge throughout the project. Again, chain 1 and turn your work. On this row, work single crochet in the very first stitch, then continue with 1 single crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. So 6 single crochet in total. At the end of this row, work one slip stitch into the 7th single crochet. Again, chain 1 and turn your work. On this side, always begin the row with one slip stitch, then work 6 single crochet stitches across the row. Chain 1 and turn your work. Work one single crochet in each of the next 6 stitches. Then, in the 7th stitch, work one slip stitch. And try to insert your hook into the back loop only. It might be a little bit difficult at the beginning. As you can see, this side is slightly wider while the other side is narrower. Should be like that. Again, chain 1 and turn your work. The pattern repeats. Begin with one slip stitch, then work 6 single crochet stitches across the row. Be sure to count your stitches. This is very important. You don't want to accidentally lose a stitch. And on this white side, begin the row with one single crochet. As you continue working, you will find that it becomes very easy. This is actually my favorite part of making the ribbing. It's slow, relaxing, and almost meditative. And at the end of the row, work one slip stitch. Continue repeating these rows until you have completed a total of 125 rows. As you can see, the ribbing will naturally begin to curl on its own, creating a rounded shape. Be sure to count your rows carefully throughout this process, and you should have a total of 125 rows with 6 single crochet and 1 slip stitch in each row. Count them carefully in each row because it's easy to lose a track. This is how the neckline should look like, and you can count rows in pairs like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, or count each row. The lower row is row 1, the first raised ridge is row 2, then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. Now I am going to join the two ends, close the ribbing into a circle, and bring the working loop to the outside, where we will begin working the raglan without cutting the yarn. You can join the ends using any method you prefer. You may already know a neat, interesting joining technique. I never managed to make this part perfectly tidy, so I simply slip stitch. Just try to keep the seam as flat as possible. Pick up just one loop from each side so the seam does not become too thick. And continue joining the edges carefully and evenly all the way across. Now we have brought the working yarn to this side. Of course, this seam isn't the prettiest and it's still a bit noticeable, but use the whichever joining method you are most comfortable with. Next, make one slip stitch. And I am going to turn the work over so that becomes the right side of the project. Now we need to work a total of 125 single crochet stitches evenly around the neckline. As you work, keep counting carefully and whenever possible, insert your hook on the two strands. Picking up two strands will help minimize the size of the holes along the edge. So continue working your way around, trying to distribute a total of 125 single crochet stitches as evenly as possible. If your row count doesn't work out perfectly, don't worry. On this step, you can always add or skip a stitch here and there to adjust the count. At this point, your neckline should look like this when you try it on. Be sure to try it on before moving to the next step. Check that you are happy with the fit, the neckline shape, and the overall look. Before we start, make sure you have 4 stitch markers. And let's start with a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then you yarn over and make a double crochet in the next stitch. So this is the first raglan. Place a stitch marker. Now we will begin with the first sleeve section. Make a chain of 5 and make sure your chains are not too tight. And skip the next 5 stitches. Then work 1 double crochet into stitch number 6 and then another double crochet into stitch number 7. So here you skipped 5 stitches and made 2 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Again, chain 5, skip the next 5 stitches, then work 1 double crochet into stitch number 6 and then another double crochet into the following stitch number 7. What we have so far is 2 pairs of double crochet separated by chain 5 spaces. Okay, and in total it's 14 stitches. As we remember from the diagram, for one sleeve section we need a total of 19 stitches. So next, make 5 more chains and skip 5 stitches and start a raglan into stitch number 6, making a first double crochet, then chain 2 and second double crochet into the next stitch. So now place a marker to keep a track. Okay, this is what the sleeve section should look like at this point. Next step is a front body section. Same chain 5, skip 5 stitches, and into stitch number 6 make 1 double crochet, then second double crochet into the stitch number 7. Again, chain 5, skip 5, and make 2 double crochet into the stitches number 6 and number 7. Repeat the same pattern, chain 5, skip 5 stitches, and make 2 double crochet into the next 2 stitches, 1 in each. Repeat the same, chain 5, skip 5, then into stitches number 6 and number 7, make 1 double crochet in each stitch. We have 4 pairs of double crochet so far. Let's repeat one more time. Chain 5, skip 5 stitches and make 2 double crochet into the next 2 stitches, 1 in each. Now we have 5 pairs of double crochet and we need to make 5 more chains only and skip 5 stitches. And again, into stitch number 6, start working a raglan. Make 1 double crochet in this stitch and then chain 2 and make second double crochet into the next stitch and place a stitch marker. This is what the front body section should look like at this point. It may feel a little snug at this stage, but don't worry, the fabric will relax and open up as you continue crocheting. Now go ahead and complete the second sleeve and the back section on your own. You will repeat exactly the same process. The front section should have a total of 40 stitches, 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, and finally 40 stitches. And remember, do not count the raglan stitches as part of the stitch count. Once you have finished the round, everything should look symmetrical, and after working the last pair of double crochet stitches, skip the final 5 single crochet stitches. You should have exactly 5 stitches remaining. And now make a slip stitch into the third chain from the first raglan to join the round. Your first round is now complete. Second round starts with raglan stitch. First of all, slip stitch into the chain 2 space. This brings you to the raglan corner, and then make a chain of 5 and then double crochet into that same space right on top of the previous raglan. Chain 3 and then work into the first chain 5 space, make your first pair of double crochet stitches, then continue by chaining 5, then in each chain 5 space work 2 double crochet stitches following the same pattern until you reach the next marker. When you reach a raglan corner, after making the last 2 double crochet, make only chain of 3 and then work a raglan stitch. 1 double crochet, chain 2 and 1 more double crochet. Work a raglan stitch the same way. Here what we have so far, as you see in the previous round we had 2 pair of double crochet, and in the second round we have 3 pair of double crochet and raglan stitches on both sides, which we don't count. Let's continue with the body section. Start with chain 3 and make 2 double crochet into the first chain 5 space. Next, chain 5 and make 2 double crochet into the next chain 5 space. Next, chain 5 and make 2 double crochet. Repeat the same pattern until you reach the next raglan corner. Chain 5 and continue working 2 double crochet stitches into each chain 5 space. Make a last pair of double crochet right before a stitch marker and a raglan. And now chain 3 and work a raglan on top of the raglan from previous round. 1 double crochet, chain 2 and 1 more double crochet. This is our raglan. Now we've done a front body section in this round. You can see as pattern grows, you will notice that each section gains 1 additional pair of double crochet stitches with every round. In the previous round, you had 5 pairs of double crochet and now you have 6 pairs. Let's continue with the second sleeve section. Start the same way with 3 chains and work 2 double crochet into the first chain space. Now chain 5 and work 2 double crochet into the next chain 5 space. Repeat chain 5 and 2 double crochet pattern until you reach the next raglan corner. Okay, make last pair of double crochet and then make chain 3 only. Then work a raglan, 1 double crochet, chain 2 and 1 more double crochet. The second sleeve section is ready, and the back part of the body make on your own. Finish the second round the same way. Make the last chain of 3 and join with a slip stitch into the third turning chain at the beginning. Okay? And then start the third round with a raglan. First of all, slip stitch into a raglan chain 2 space, and then make chain 5 and 1 double crochet into the same space. Next, chain 3 and work 2 double crochet into the next chain 3 space. Like that. Then continue with chain 5 and 2 double crochet into the next chain 5 space. Continue working 2 double crochet stitches into each chain 5 space, and make sure you don't skip the last chain 3 space right before a raglan. Make 2 double crochet in it. Then chain 3, and you will always make a chain 3 before a raglan, then work a raglan. The body section starts the same way. Make chain of 3 and then 2 double crochet into the first chain 3 space, and then continue with a chain 5 with 2 double crochet into each chain 5 space. Let's see what the sleeve section looks like so far. There were 3 pairs of double crochet in the previous round, and now there are 4 pairs, and raglan stitches on both sides, which we don't count. In the body section, you will have 7 pairs of double crochet in this round. And this is what your work should look like after completing the third round. With each new round, you will add 1 more pair of double crochet stitches to every section. As a result, the piece will gradually widen and take a shape. Continue repeating the same pattern without making any changes. In the next step, I will show you exactly how many rounds to work before we move on to the tapering sleeves. I have now completed 6 rounds. At this point, we will begin shaping the sleeves. The front and back sections will continue exactly as before, but the sleeve sections will start to narrow, which means the stitch count on the sleeves will gradually change. Work until you are just before the shoulder joint, right before the shoulder begins to curve. This is the point where we will start shaping the sleeves by making them smaller and slightly modifying the stitch pattern. Be sure to try the garment on before continuing so you don't miss the right time to begin this shaping. I've already started the next round, the sleeve section. At each raglan corner, nothing changes. Work raglan stitch the same way, then chain 3 as usual. Then you will chain 4 between each pair of double crochet. Once you reach the next raglan corner, work it exactly as before. The front and back sections remain unchanged. I also recommend placing stitch markers at the beginning of this shaping round. Mark both sleeve sections. As you continue crocheting, the markers will remind you that these are the sleeves, and this is where you will keep shaping them, making 4 chains instead of 5. Continue working the pattern until your raglan measures the correct length for your size. For a size small, the raglan depth should be about 8 inches or 20 centimeters. For this sample, the depth measures approximately 6.5 inches or 17 centimeters. I included a complete sizing chart at the beginning of the video so you can refer to it for your size. You can also Google any standard raglan sizing chart if needed. Once you reach the recommended raglan depth for your size, try the garment on to make sure the fit is correct before moving on to the next step. Place stitch markers where the underarms will be joined and see how the garment fits. At this stage, the underarm area will sit very close to your armpit. It may feel quite snug, and that is completely normal. In the next step, we will add extra rise across the back, which will increase the armhole depth and make the fit much more comfortable. This is the last stitch I made at the corner, and this is the back of the top. Now we're going to work the raised back to create extra height to improve the fit. Turn your work inside out and begin working from the same corner but on the wrong side of the fabric. First of all, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. This chain counts as the double crochet stitch on the raglan corner. That is the closest to the back of the garment. Next, chain 3 again and work 2 double crochet stitches into the first chain 3 space right here. From here, continue the established pattern. Chain 5 and then work 2 double crochet stitches into the next chain 5 space. So repeat this across the entire back section, working 2 double crochet stitches into every chain 5 space. Continue until you reach the next raglan corner. I will meet you there. As usual, after working the last pair of double crochet stitches, chain 3, and next work 1 double crochet into the top of the raglan double crochet that is the closest to the back of the garment. Do not work into the remaining chain 2 space and the last 2 double crochet of the raglan corner. Those stitches belong to the sleeve section and will be left unworked. To begin the next row, chain 6, and then turn your work to the right side. Then work into the very first chain 3 space right here and make 2 double crochet stitches. And then continue the established pattern across the row by chaining 5 and working 2 double crochet stitches into each chain 5 space. As you continue, you will notice the raised back gradually becomes wider, following the same angle as the raglan, just as if you were still working in joint rounds. Every new row of the raised back begins the same way. Chain 6, then work 2 double crochet stitches into the first chain 3 space. Continue across the row. At the end, work the final pair of double crochet stitches into the beginning chain 6. Then chain 3 and finish the row by making 1 double crochet into the third chain of the beginning chain 6. I've completed a total of 5 rows for the raised back, which gives me a height of approximately 2 inches or 5 centimeters. And let me quickly recap the pattern. Begin each row by chaining 6, then work 2 double crochet stitches into the first chain 3 space, and continue with the established pattern. Chain 5, then work 2 double crochet stitches into each chain 5 space across the row. And at the end of the row, work the final pair of double crochet stitches into the beginning chain 6, then chain 3, and finish the row by working 1 double crochet into the third chain of the beginning chain 6. Now you can see how much better the garment fits. The raised back adds just enough ease to make it much more comfortable to wear without feeling tight or restrictive. You can also see that the armhole depth has increased, giving a better fit under the arms. The crew neckline now sits properly. The front neckline is slightly lower, and the garment no longer pulls backward when you wear it. Before joining the work in the round, make sure your garment is turned to the right side. To continue from the correct direction, we will need to cut the yarn and rejoin it on the opposite side of the back. Otherwise, the next round would be worked from the wrong side of the fabric. So I've cut the yarn, secured the end with a knot, and now I am ready to rejoin it on the other side of the back. Join the yarn using the same method I demonstrated in my previous videos. It's simple and very secure. First, make a slip knot and place it on your hook. Then insert the hook into the edge stitch on the side of the back section, yarn over, and pull up a loop to attach the yarn. Now we are ready to join the back and front sections together from the right side of the garment. So this is the sleeve, this is the front, and this is the back side. Take a look at the raglan corner and join the front and the back by making a slip stitch into the double crochet that belongs to the front section of the raglan. The double crochet which is closest to the body of the front panel. Once you've joined the front and back with a slip stitch, make one or two additional slip stitches to move into the first chain space. I think I'm gonna make two slip stitches so my starting point sits nicely in the center of the space. Now begin the pattern. Chain 3, then work one double crochet into that same chain space. Then continue as before, chain 5, then work two double crochet stitches into the next chain space. Keep repeating this pattern all the way across the front section. I'm going to finish working this row across the front, and then I will meet you on the opposite side where we will join the other side of the back and front together, okay? I've almost finished the row. I have my last two double crochet stitches into the last chain space. Then chain 3 and join to the raglan by working a slip stitch into the double crochet that belongs to the front section of the raglan, not the one that belongs to the sleeve. It is the double crochet closest to the front panel. And now we need to join the front to the back. Turn the garment so the right sides are facing each other. Here is the second sleeve, this is the back, and this is the front. Work one double crochet into the edge chain 3 space on the back section. Then work one more double crochet into that same chain 3 space. And now continue with the pattern. Chain 5, then work two double crochet stitches into the next chain 5 space. Keep repeating two double crochet, chain 5 all the way across the back. I'm going to finish this row across the back, and we will meet again on the other side where I will show you how to finish the round. I've reached the beginning of the round on the back where we started with a turning chain. If I were to work the final chain 5 here, the fabric would become too tight. So instead, work the last pair of double crochet stitches into the edge chain 6 space. Now chain 5, then join with a slip stitch into the third chain of the beginning chain 3 to close the round. And that's it. We have completed the round. And to begin the next round, move into the next chain 5 space using slip stitches. Simply work slip stitches until you reach the center of the chain space. I will make about 3 slip stitches to get there. Once you are in the chain space, chain 3 to begin the next round. This counts as your first double crochet. Then make one more double crochet. Now continue with the established pattern. Chain 5, then work 2 double crochet stitches into the next chain 5 space and repeat this pattern all the way across. Notice that the beginning of each round gradually shifts to the side. Continue working across the front section, and when we reach the second sleeve, I will show you exactly how to breach from the front to the back once again. After that, the pattern simply repeats and you will continue working the body in the round to the length you like. I've reached the second sleeve. This is the front and this is the back. I've already worked the last 2 double crochet stitches into the final chain 3 space at the edge of the front section. Now simply chain 5 and continue into the first chain 5 space on the back. From this point on, you will continue working completely in the round. Just keep repeating the established pattern around the entire body. As you can see, my round ended right here in the middle of the back, and I don't want to begin the ribbed hem from the middle of the back because the join would be too noticeable. Instead, I will move the starting point to the side seam where it will be much less visible and give the garment a cleaner, more professional finish. I recommend not making the top too long since this is the mesh stitch pattern. The fabric will naturally stretch and become slightly longer with wear. I'm going to start the ribbed hem from the side of the garment. Join the yarn and do not count this slip knot as a stitch. Now chain 8. The first 7 chains form the width of the ribbing, and the last chain is a turning chain. Now work back across the foundation chain. Make 7 single crochet stitches. And now I will show you how to join the ribbing to the body. Lay the ribbing flat against the edge of the garment. Join it to the next stitch on the body with a slip stitch. Then work one more slip stitch into the following stitch to move up along the edge. Turn your work. Without making a turning chain, start working immediately into the first single crochet stitch to the back loop and make 7 single crochet stitches across the ribbing. Then make a turning chain. Always make it, okay? Again, Turn your work and make 7 single crochet to the back loop of the stitch. When you reach the end, join the ribbing to the body again with a slip stitch. Work one more slip stitch into the next stitch along the edge. Be sure to attach the ribbing to every double crochet stitches. Don't skip them, okay? Turn your work and begin the next row into the very first single crochet stitch. If you are unsure where to start, simply count your stitches from the edge. Whenever I want to double check my stitch count, I simply take a quick glance across the row before I continue crocheting. You should always have 7 single crochet stitches across the ribbing. At the end of the row, work the final single crochet into the last stitch, chain 1, turn your work and continue. This row is worked exactly the same way as the previous one, 7 single crochet stitches across with no changes to the pattern. Once you have completed the row, join the ribbing to the body with a slip stitch. Then work one more slip stitch into the next stitch to move up one stitch before turning your work and repeating the process. You don't have to join the ribbing to every single stitch along the edge of the garment. It is perfectly fine to skip a stitch occasionally if needed. The most important thing is that the ribbing must sit at a 90-degree angle to the body of the garment. If it stays nice and perpendicular to the body of the garment, I know I am attaching it right way. Once you finish the ribbed hem, try to make the final join as invisible as possible. And now let's talk about the sleeves. For my sleeves, I simply continued the established pattern for 4 rounds. The only change I made was reducing the chain spaces. Instead of chaining 4 between each pair of double crochet stitches, I chained only 3. And the transition is almost impossible to notice. Around the armhole, when attaching the sleeve, I worked into almost every chain space. I only skipped 2 of them where double crochet were especially close together. Just try to keep them spacing between each pair of double crochet stitches as even as possible all the way around. Work the sleeves to whatever length you prefer. You may simply finish the sleeve with just a ribbing. Both versions looks great, so choose the one you like best.